guys, so we are coming up on the end of the school year. It's springtime, and if you have seen any of my previous videos about planning or some of my book hauls, you know that I am super thinking about next year and what's coming up. But I also have been thinking about this year, what has worked for us, what hasn't worked for us, my favorite things that we've used, and what are we going to take into the next year. So today I'm just going to share with you some of my favorite things that we've used this year. And let's say about half of them are things that we've gotten for free and are available for free online. So I'm going to share some of those with you. So hey, my name's Adrienne. I like to talk all things homeschool and family life and motherhood here on this channel. If you would like to see more of these types of videos, go ahead and subscribe. But for now, let's look at this free curriculum. Okay, before I show you all of the favorite books and curriculum and stuff from this year, I just want to let you know that there will be a link in the description for the blog post where I will have all the links to all of the things I'm going to show you today. I'll also link the current curriculum tab on my website so you guys can go and look and see all the other things that we've used this year that weren't favorites, but we did use them this year if you're interested. So those will be down below. If you are curious, you can go and check that out. Now, I love free curriculum. I love curriculum. I love researching it and looking it up, but really I get so excited when I find things for free. And I love things like this. So this is Number Stories. This is not the original cover, but this is the book Number Stories Book 2. We also used Number Stories Book 1 this year, but I just grabbed this one. This is a vintage math book that is available for free on the Internet Archive, and it is the sweetest book. So it just takes you through basic math concepts. So the first book starts and it has an adorable story in Number Stories 1 about a little monkey, and his name is Jojo, and all the mischief he gets into. And it just talks about things like larger and smaller and more and less, and just those basic concepts, and then leaning into number recognition and counting and all those pre-K, maybe kindergarten skills that you would be learning. So I used that with my kindergartner this year, and he flew through the book. He loved it so much. He begged me to do it, and it is so easy. You don't need all the extra manipulatives and things like some other curriculums. It's not focused on handwriting and writing out the math problems. It's really just a snuggle up on the couch kind of math book. You snuggle up and read the story and ask the questions and talk about how cute the pictures are and how silly the monkey is. And it's so precious. If I ever tried to skip this math, my kids would beg me, Mommy, what about Number Stories? Are we doing Number Stories today? So they loved it and I loved it. It was free, it's sweet, and it's pretty thorough, which I really like about it. So this is Number Stories 2 that I used for my first grader this year, and he is getting close to the end of it. This is the title page, and this one is the same theme. It's got different characters in it though, so it's a different story, and it goes through and it'll tell you a story, and then it'll ask you some questions about it, and it starts off just very gentle, reading a story and asking which one's the tallest or the longest, or just identifying parts of it, and then it leads into more of a addition and subtraction and basic math facts, and they're really great because they're all word problems. So you have to really think about it and work it out in your head. And so here they're learning 2 plus 2 is 4, and I like that this doesn't start off teaching you 2 plus 2 is 4. It's 2 and 2, and then you can show them what that means and talk about it, and then further into the book it shows you the plus symbol and the plus means and all those things. It's so very sweet. Let me see if I can't pull up the table of contents right here so I can show you some of the things they cover. Let's see. Oh no, this has the story titles in it. But it just goes over addition and subtraction and some of those basic math concepts. Let's see. So numbers from 1 to 10 to 20, counting by tens, counting to 100, counting to 300, counting by twos, by fives, writing the numbers to 100, ordinal numbers, subtraction concepts, and addition concepts. And it's just really sweet. And then in the back, it also has like some additional math problems to go over and review. My kids have loved this. So this is definitely my favorite. Now, the next thing that I have is what we used for phonics this year, and it has been so great. So this is Alpha Phonics Blumenfield's Alpha Phonics, a primer for beginning readers. And I really like this because one, it's free. So I just printed this out and put it in a binder, and they are all in these sleeves. And I have used this for my kindergartner this year and my first grader who is still working on his phonics. And we have made it most of the way through. I believe we're on lesson 82, and there are lessons. There are 128 lessons. So we'll finish this next year for my oldest son who will be in second grade next year. But it is very basic. It's not a lot of busy work. It's not just worksheets that they're filling out. My kids are not worksheet kids. They do not enjoy them. But it just starts off in the beginning, and you can practice all your letters. And then lesson 1 is just very simple. So after they know their letter sounds, their letter names, you will go over their letter sounds. And it's almost like teach your child to read in 100 easy lessons. But so they'll sound it out and put the word together. And that's just one lesson. They're just starting off with these words, and then it goes all the way to lesson 5, and they're reading some CVC words. And for this, we just go through the lesson and we'll do it orally together. And then if they need extra work the next day, maybe we'll do some copy work, or I'll pull out our letter magnets and we'll spell out some words. I'll spell some and I'll have my children sound them out, or they'll try to put them together and see if they can make a word. And we just talk a lot about what's in here. If we see capital letters, what does that mean? I just really love this. It's so very thorough, and it has really helped my first grader. He was really struggling in the beginning of the year to read. He wanted to read so desperately, but he struggled a lot with it. And this has just simplified it for him and helped him to really understand it. So Alpha Phonics, I just love it. It also has a letter to the parents to explain the method of using this, and then it also runs through each lesson and will give you a few instructions on how to teach it if you need help with it. Once you get a few lessons in, you get the hang of how to teach it and what to do. But if you do get stuck, there is a parent section in the back of this, so it's not just these lessons for the kids. I also like that I didn't have this printed and bound. I printed it and I put it in this binder with protective sheets. And so since I'm using this for my kindergartner and my first grader, I just pull out the lesson that they're each on for the week and I slide it in my planner. So I can just pull out the one page that we're on, that we are going through for the week, and then I put it back and pull out the next one when we're ready for it. Because sometimes we will work through 2 or 3 lessons in a week instead of doing one lesson a day. If we get stuck, then we just hang on to it, stays in my planner, and I pull out the next one when we're ready for it. I also like that it's in these protective sheets because sometimes I can underline things, or I can mark ones, or if they're doing copy work and I just want them to copy a few words or a sentence, then I can underline it or put a circle around it or a dot next to the words to copy, and then I can erase it and it doesn't affect the book at all, and I can still reuse it for when my 2-year-old will start kindergarten. So I love this. You can also get this on Amazon, already printed and bound. I want to say it's like $20, so it's really inexpensive for a phonics program, especially one that is more than 1 year's worth. This is at least 2 years worth, if not 3, and we just love it. Very simple and free. Now, the next thing that I have is this gentle grammar. So I didn't do much else other than phonics and copy work, and we didn't start this grammar until the second half of the year. I really wanted to keep it simple and focus on our phonics and copying the words. I didn't want to focus a lot on spelling, and I didn't want to focus really on grammar until my oldest could learn to read. And the same for my youngest. He's just now starting to read those CVC words and get better at really remembering his sounds. So I kept it really simple. But I did start this the second half of the year for language arts, and this is Gentle Grammar, and this is by Sherry Hayes. So she took the old book. It's called New Language Exercises for Primary Schools by C.C. Long, and she just redid it into more of a workbook form, but it is very gentle and very simple. So like the first lesson, it just says copy these statements, and it's talking all about names. So it has a name. It says my name is Charles Jones, and then you just copy the sentence, and then that's just one lesson. It's super simple. And then the next one is you're going to write your name and the name of your school and the name of the city you live in. And so it's not telling you things like what is the noun, what is the verb, what is the adverb of it. It's just in real life kind of things, things that are applicable to you, and then you put it in your sentences. And it's great. It counts as copy work. It helps his handwriting, and he's really starting to think about how to form sentences. We haven't really worked on his own creative writing, but this is helping. He wants to write. He wants to spell now, and he started to ask how to do these things, and this has helped him. It helps things like when to use is or are. And then we're just now coming up on was or were. And it's the same thing. You'll just copy some sentences to see some examples, and then you'll fill in which word to use. There's like a little doodle space down here, and my child thinks doodle means scribble all over the page, but he enjoys it. But it's very simple. It's quick. It doesn't take but a few minutes for him to do this. And this is also available for free on her blog. You can download it and print it yourself for free. But I went ahead and got it on Amazon. It was really cheap. I think it was like $5 or $6 to just buy the book already. And so I bought level 1, and we probably will not finish this book this year. We'll just carry this into next year, and when he finishes it, we'll do the next level. I think there's 3 levels of this. So it's sweet, it's gentle, and we can keep doing this for free if I choose to print it for the next few years. And then my younger son coming up into first grade next year can use this too. But we're just loving it. I really love, if you can't tell by now, the gentle introduction to math, the gentle introduction to grammar, and just chugging along with our phonics at our pace. I just like that these don't have a specific, on Monday you do this, on Tuesday you do this. I have learned about myself that it really stresses me out because we'll get behind, and we homeschool, so you can't really be behind as long as you are continually working and meeting your child's needs. They're not behind. But in myself, I struggled with that. So I like that this is just the lesson number and you go at your own pace, and so I don't struggle with that as much. Okay, my next favorite thing that we used this year is this book. It is George Washington's Rules of Civility and Decent Behavior in Company and Conversation. So we went on vacation last summer, and this was one of my souvenirs. I felt kind of nerdy and super pleased with myself that this was one of my souvenirs. But you can also get this book, I believe, free on Google Books, so you could print this off yourself for free as well. But I couldn't resist a book, and it's just sweet, and it's been fun. It's led to a lot of good conversations about manners and etiquette and how we behave now versus how they behaved in the days this book was written. And it has also challenged me as a mom in my how would you put this, skills in using language, because they are sometimes tricky. The first few are pretty good, and as we got a little deeper in, I had to look up the words and make sure that I was explaining it right. But we have just gone through one of these rules every week, and so we'll just read it every day. So the first one is, every action done in company ought to be with some sign of respect to those that are present. And then we just read that in the morning during our morning time. And then we would talk about it all week. So if someone was struggling with it, we'd be like, oh man, what was that rule that we were just reading about? And we would go and we would look it up if they didn't remember, or we talk about it. It also talks about like not drumming on the table or looking over people's shoulders, or just there's so many good things in here, so many good things. I really want my boys and even my little girl as she gets older to have good manners, good etiquette, and this was just fun. And again, you can get this free. Okay, so the last few things I have are just books. I picked out our favorite read alouds for this year, and the first one, we're not done with this yet. I really focused on chapter books in the beginning of the year, and I burnt myself out a little bit on reading chapter books. Not that my kids don't love them, but I wanted to just read some more sweet picture books while they're still young and some of these classic stories. So we have been using the Random House book of Bedtime Stories, illustrated by Jane Dyer, and it's beautiful. I have not heard a lot of these stories, and they are just sweet. So even for myself, they're very heartwarming, and my children have really been loving them. It's been a good way to break up the chapter books, but still get some good heartwarming stories in. And so it's just got some fun ones. It's got How the Camel Got His Hump, The Lion and the Mouse, The Tale of Peter Rabbit. We have read that one. The Selfish Giant. Grumly the Grouch was one of my favorites. I've never heard it, and I thought it was adorable. Even my husband really liked it, and he doesn't love books as much as I do, but he was sitting with us listening while we were reading this before bedtime one day, and he thought that was cute. The Baker's Cat is an adorable one. I just have never heard these. We're almost finished with it, but it also has some super classics like The Three Billy Goats Gruff and The Gingerbread Boy. Like I said, The Lion and the Mouse, Goldilocks and the Three Bears. So this was just really sweet. We have really been enjoying this book. And then the last ones are just the chapter books that we really enjoyed this year. So we read Prince Caspian. We read the first one last year, and we read Prince Caspian this year and the one that follows. And then we watched the movies, and so they really liked these. I was pretty surprised. I'd never read these, so it was enjoyable for me to get to read these out loud to my boys. But they're very descriptive books, and I mean, there's sometimes where it's very descriptive of them just walking through the woods. But my boys were sucked in. They just loved the adventure aspect of it, and then we got to watch the movie and see the differences, and it was really fun for them, and I really enjoyed it. And then the last ones that we read are the Mouse and the Motorcycle books. And my kindergartner got these for his birthday last year, and we have been reading through them this year. And he loves them. He loves motorcycles, anything with wheels. So he absolutely adored these. So we read The Mouse and the Motorcycle, Runaway Ralph, and then Ralph S. Mouse. And these are the Beverly Cleary series. And I found some old school movies that go with these. If I can find them again, I will try to link them just because they were super goofy. My husband thinks that it looks like a little like taxidermy mouse. I think it was like a felted mouse, and the voice is really goofy, and it's super fun. They're short. I want to say they're like 30-minute movies for the 3 books, but I think we found them free. I think they were on Tubi, or they might have all been on a different place, but we did find them. I didn't know they existed when we got the books, but I got to looking for them to see if they existed, and they do. So my kids love these as well. It's always fun when there's a movie to go with the book that you read, and they were just corny and goofy and fun. So those are my favorite homeschool curriculum and books from this year that I feel like really helped my family. They definitely helped our budget. They were free for the most part. And I just thought that I would share. Maybe you guys are looking for next year or some free options out there. I will link below my blog post that goes with this video. I will link that blog post, but I'll also link on my website. I have a current curriculum tab, so you can look through there and see all the other things that we use this year if you're curious or you're doing research for next year. I will link those below. So thank you for watching. I hope this was helpful. If you liked this video, if it was helpful to you, or if you would like to see upcoming videos for our next year's curriculum, go ahead and subscribe, like the video, and I will see you next time. Bye.